What is the price of lust? For some, it's $1,000. For others, millions. And when your heart is no longer your own, you pay that price every day. You can call me Amelia, although my friends call me Leah. I was born into wealth and privilege, but it wasn't until I met Theo that I understood what all those privileges meant. I grew up in the palace that had belonged to my family for generations. It was massive, sprawling over acres of land in the heart of London. But it didn't feel like a home. Not really. My parents were too busy maintaining their image and their status to bother with things like making a house a home. They barely even bothered with me. I was mostly raised by servants, educated by tutors, and left to my own devices for most of the day. That's why, when I was 18, I didn't know anything about cooking or cleaning. I couldn't fix a leaky tap or change a light bulb, but that changed when I met Theo. We met when I was still in university. I was studying literature and he was doing engineering. We didn't have much in common, but there was a spark between us. Our first date was at this little cafe near the university. It was cozy and cute, and we spent hours talking. He told me about his dreams of building houses for people who didn't have access to basic shelter, and I told him about my plans to travel the world. We both had big dreams, but neither of us knew how to achieve them. That's where our similarities ended. Theo was everything I wasn't. He was confident, outgoing, and had a talent for fixing anything. He could build a house from scratch and make it look like a palace. But while he was good with his hands, I was hopeless. If I tried to fix something, I'd probably break it. That's why I never even considered the possibility that he might want to move in with me. But he did. And not only that, he asked me to marry him. Now, you're probably thinking that I'm crazy. Why would I let someone move in with me after just one date? And why did I agree to marry him without even knowing him properly? Well, I didn't know him properly. I knew that I liked him, that I enjoyed his company, and that he made me laugh. But I had no idea what he was really like. And maybe that's what made him so attractive to me. The mystery. The unknown. Maybe I was in love with the idea of him rather than the reality. But I wanted to get to know the reality, so I said yes. It was the best decision I ever made. From the moment he moved in, everything changed. He showed me how to cook and clean, how to fix things around the house, and how to enjoy life. Before Theo, I had never had to think about practical things like how to cook a meal or how to do the laundry. Those things were taken care of by servants. But Theo wasn't a servant. He was my husband. And he didn't do these things for me because he was paid to do so. He did it because he loved me. And that meant more to me than anything else. He loved me despite my flaws, my insecurities, my fears. He loved me even when I didn't feel worthy of being loved. And that's why when I found out that I was pregnant, I knew that I wanted to keep the baby. I knew that I wanted to be a mother. But Theo, he wasn't so sure. He was scared. He was afraid that he wouldn't be able to provide for our child and that I would leave him if he couldn't meet my expectations. But I promised him that I would stay with him no matter what. I promised him that we would get through this together, and we did. Theo became an amazing father, patient, caring, loving. He was everything I had ever dreamed of in a husband and a father. I knew that I was lucky to have him in my life. But as the years went by, I started to feel something inside of me grow. It wasn't love. It was resentment. I resented him for taking away my freedom, my independence, my youth. I felt like a bird that had been caged. And the more Theo tried to make me happy, the more miserable I became. And then one day, everything changed. Theo got an offer that would change our lives forever. He had always wanted to build houses for the homeless, and now he had the chance to do it. A wealthy businessman had approached him with an offer to design and build houses for people in need. But there was a catch. The businessman wanted Theo to live in one of the houses and monitor the construction work closely. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Theo, and I knew that I couldn't stand in his way. But I also knew that if he went, he wouldn't be coming back. I felt like my whole world was crumbling down around me. I was terrified, but I knew that I had to let him go. I knew that if I didn't, I would be the one who would suffer in the end. So I gave him my blessing. I told him to go and follow his dreams. I told him that I would be fine, but I wasn't fine. As soon as he left, I started to plan my revenge. I didn't know what form it would take, but I knew that I wanted to hurt him. I wanted him to feel the same pain that I had felt. And then I had my revenge. I called his boss and told him that Theo was a liar and a cheat. I told him that Theo wasn't married and that he wasn't capable of doing the job. His boss fired him on the spot, and Theo was devastated. He came back to me, defeated, broken, and I felt bad. I really did, but I had already started planning my revenge, and I wasn't going to stop now. I wanted more. I wanted everything that Theo had ever taken from me. I wanted his money, his power, his respect, and I knew just how to get it. I started sleeping around. I slept with his boss, with his friends, with anyone who could help me get what I wanted. I didn't care if I got caught. I didn't care if I ruined my reputation. I just wanted revenge, and I got it. Theo lost everything. He lost his job, his status, his money, and I gained everything. I became the woman I had always wanted to be, powerful, respected, rich, but it wasn't enough. I still wanted more. I wanted to be the woman Theo had fallen in love with, the woman he had married. But Theo didn't want me anymore. He was too ashamed of me. He thought that I was a gold digger, a tramp, a whore. And maybe he was right. And then one day, Theo came back into my life. He was older now, wiser, more experienced. But his eyes still held the same spark that had attracted me to him all those years ago. And I knew that I still loved him. I knew that I had made a mistake, but Theo didn't know that. All he saw was a woman who had betrayed him, a woman who had destroyed his life. And he wanted revenge. He wanted to hurt me the same way that I had hurt him. He wanted to take everything that I had taken from him, and I let him. I let him destroy me because I knew that I deserved it. I had betrayed him. I had destroyed his life. And now it was my turn to suffer. As he was tearing me down, I realized that I was finally free. Free from the chains that I had forged myself. Free from the prison that I had built around myself. I was finally free. Now, I want you to ask yourself this. Would you let someone into your life even if they weren't right for you? Would you give up everything for love? Or would you choose to walk away? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, if you enjoyed this story, stay tuned for more. Until next time, take care.